So it's late February, beautiful spring day, as you hopefully can see. And today I'm going to put in place the first of my hoverfly lagoons. We've already got plenty of bees and hoverflies in the garden, even this early in the year. And we've got a pond and a water barrel, so some hoverflies use those for laying their eggs and breeding. But there are plenty of hoverflies that like stagnant water, in particular Myothropa florea, which is the Batman hoverfly, so called because it's got this Batman shape on the back of its thorax. And so what I'm going to do is recreate effectively a hollowed out log with stagnant water, which is their preferred territory for laying their eggs. And then I'll place that in the garden, and during the year we'll monitor and see how it's getting on. So you can do this with old milk bottles, plastic milk bottle cartons. I've gone this year for something slightly more sturdy. This is old cornflakes box, plastic one. It saves chucking it away. So what we're going to do is make a lagoon in here. The idea is that the adult hoverflies are attracted to this rotting lagoon, lay their eggs. The larvae then crawl out, find somewhere nice and dry to turn into pupa, and then we collect the pupa, put them somewhere safe until they become adults, and then let them go. As you can see, hopefully you can see on this one, there's a couple of holes at the top. I've actually drilled these holes, but on a milk bottle carton, you could probably just do it with a little skewer. But you know, it's a sharp implement, so if you're getting your kids to do this, make sure they're supervised. But you need holes at the top because you want the top layer of this lagoon to be relatively dry. So as the water fills the lagoon, it'll come out of these drainage holes, and the top layer where the hoverflies will actually lay their eggs will be relatively dry in comparison to the lagoon itself, is what you want in there. You want something that will rot, and it's the rotting vegetation in the water giving off its delightful smell, which will attract the hoverflies into it. I've got a mixture here, which is normal compostable material. This is old fern leaves from last year's ferns. It's got a bit of sphagnum moss left over from hanging baskets, and indeed some rush sweepings from the local nature reserve that had just been cutting its rushes back, and we took some of the sweepings from that. And so all we're going to do is take some of that material and pop it into our lagoon. Once we've completed this, we'll fill it with water and put it in place. But as you can see, up to there, up to the drainage holes, we'll fill it for that, and then the water will go on top. That will rot down and create a lovely environment for the hoverfly larva. Just to say a word about the larvae themselves at this stage, they're what's called rat-tailed maggots. They're not maggots, they're larvae. But as they develop from the egg, they look a bit maggoty, and they look as though they've got long tails, but the long tails are actually breathing tubes. So the larva will come off the leaf where the egg has been laid, come right to the bottom of the water, and have a long breathing tube which goes to the surface, and they actually use that to breathe. Now you can tip these out every so often to see how you're doing with the number of larvae in there. But if you do that, do be careful, because if those breathing tubes are damaged, then you'll kill the larva. So my personal recommendation is to let the larvae develop in here to their heart's content, leave them alone, and then I go and look for the pupa in the litter underneath as the larvae come out. So how do the larvae get out of here? Well, what we do is give them a few sticks. It can be bits of bamboo or twigs from the garden, and just pop a few in right to the bottom of the material. There we go. And then when the larvae have developed as far as they need to, they will then climb up and out over the edge and down into a safe haven which we're going to create underneath. And what we're going to do here is just use a small seed tray. This needs to be relatively dry leaf litter in here, so you need to put holes in. Lots of these seed trays these days come without holes, but just punch some holes in the bottom of the seed tray so this drains. It'll still be moist and damp, but it won't be sodding wet, and that's exactly what you want. Now you can fill this with all sorts of stuff. People use sawdust or wood chippings, or just dry leaf material. This year I'm using a mixture of dry leaf material and vermiculite, which someone recommended. Not used it before, but I'm going to give it a try. But it should be relatively easy to look through to find the larva later in the year. So there we go, we've now got a nice tray for the larva to develop into. We just pop that on top, fill this with water, put it in a nice sunny spot in the garden. Last year I had 2 of these made from milk bottles, and I had them both by our pond, and during the course of the year we must have had 100, 150 adult Batman hoverflies out of this. It's not just Batman hoverflies that are attracted to this type of Hoverfly Lagoon, but it is by far the most abundant that we had last year. So this year I'm going to put out 3. I'm going to put 1 by the pond where we had 2 last year, and then 2 further down the garden in some sun but away from the existing water we've got, to see if we attract either the same or different species in a slightly different location in the garden. Then during the course of the year you will of course see the hoverflies start to lay their eggs. That may be May or June. I'm putting them out this early to give this stuff a chance to rot down a bit, to create that attractive perfume for the hoverflies. But in early summer, late spring, early summer, you'll start to see hoverflies laying their eggs. And from that point on, you can keep an eye on what's happening in the leaf litter underneath. I normally look at this about 2 weeks after I've seen the first hoverfly laying, and then about every week or 10 days after that. And all I do is tip this leaf litter out into another larger tray, sift through it for hoverfly pupa, which will now be no rat's tails. The breathing tube's gone. They're just now a hard little pupa, little cocoon in there, instantly recognisable. I just pull those out, put them into a Tupperware pot with some Hessian over the top to stop anything else getting into the pot, but allowing air to get in to the animals inside. And then as soon as I put them into that Tupperware, put it in a cool place in the shed, but then I'll keep an eye on them on a daily basis, because I won't know how long it is that those pupa have been in the leaf litter, so I won't know how long before the first one actually emerges. So I'll look at them on a daily basis. The hoverflies will emerge. They'll be quite happy in the Tupperware box for a few hours if you just look at them just before one emerges, as it were. So they'll be quite happy there overnight in the Tupperware box. And they'll take a few hours to sort their internal organs out and pump their wings up and so on. And then you can just take the lid off the box, take the hessian off the box, or cloth, or whatever you've got on there, and just let them go. And off they'll fly to start the cycle all over again. So that's it. Hoverfly Lagoons, very simple, very easy way of increasing the volume of biodiversity in the garden, certainly in terms of the hoverfly species. I'll be interested to see this year whether I attract more than just the Myothropa florea to our lagoons, and I'll keep you posted during the course of the year. Hope you enjoyed that. Good luck with your own lagoons.